Hi, this is Nam from Easy Sunday Club, and today we're going to go through 6 printers that we recommend for artists in 2020. Now we've gotten a lot. Now we've gotten a lot of questions and feedback out there of like, is my printer any good? Can I use it to print prints and cards? And what printer do you recommend? I don't want to spend that much money. So this video is to address that. Some things that I consider before I even look for a printer when I'm researching it, because I can go down all these rabbit holes, is can this printer even print a decent print? And also, how future-proof is this printer? Is it going to last me a long time, or is it going to break down on me? And the third thing that I usually consider is how much is it going to cost to maintain long term? If this thing breaks down and I have to fix it, that's one thing. And also, how much is it going to cost for all the ink? Because what these printer companies try to do is they get you into their ecosystem by selling the printer really cheap, and then they get you in the long run by just charging you lots and lots of money for ink. With that in mind, we're going to go and look at these printers, and I divided these printers up into 3 different tiers. One is your budget printer, and that's if it's like $250 and below. The next is your mid-tier printer. So this is usually from around $300 to $500 type of range. And then you have your high-end fine art printers. This is usually $1,000 and up. So hopefully we can have a whole gamut of things that may hit your price points, and we can jump into it. Some other things to consider is, why do these printers cost different amounts of money if they can all print the same resolution? Well, these are the things that make the printer cost different amounts. One is the size of paper it prints. The larger the size the printer can print, the more expensive it's going to be. Also, the number of inks in the printer. Your standard black and white printer only has 1 ink cartridge. But these high-end crazy printers can have up to 10. So that's also gonna affect the price a lot. So with that in mind, let's start off with the cheapest printer and we'll go from there. All right, first printer is our cheapest printer. It comes in around $250 and it is the HP Envy Photo 7855 all-in-one printer. Why is this printer good? Because it has all-in-one functionality. It can scan, print, photocopy, and fax, if you still use fax. So if you're just getting started, you don't even have a home printer and you need those other capabilities, cool, great, go ahead and use it. But there's a lot of reasons not to get this. First, it's limited in the print size. So the max you can print is 8.5 by 14 inches. So what that tells me is that if I'm making standard art prints that are 8 by 10, that's the max I can go, is usually 8 by 10. If I'm just making greeting cards, it should be fine because, you know, A2 size would be smaller than that. Also, I don't like printers that do too many functions or hardware in general that does 4 things. I'd rather just buy something that does one thing really, really well. And that goes back to future-proofing. I have a feeling by stuffing all of these things into one object, it doesn't scan as well as it should, or it doesn't print as well as it should. Just a friendly reminder, HP Envy only has 2 ink cartridges. That's another drawback for this. It only has black, and the second one handles all the colors. That means the color gamut and the range of colors it can print is not that much. The people that I recommend this printer for is people who don't have any printers, who are just getting started, who aren't ready to commit, not sure if they want to start an art print business or a card business, and they just want to see if they like it first, and this is kind of like training wheels. So with that in mind, knock yourself out and buy this. But I'd rather find another $100 and buy our next printer. So the next category of printers that we go to are our mid-tier printers. So again, mid-tier printers ranges for $350 to $500. Why are they mid-tier printers? Because usually they can print up to 13 inches by 19 inches and they have more ink cartridges. With our mid-tier printers in mind, the first mid-tier printer is the Epson Expression Photo HD XP 15000 Inkjet printer. This retails for $350 and it has great resolution, 5760 by 1440, which is more than you need, and it can print a max of 13 inches by 19 inches. That tells me that you can make standard art prints up to 12 by 16 inches in the United States. And for greeting cards, don't worry, it handles it like no other. The number of cartridges this has is 6 ink cartridges, which means that it has a wider gamut than the HP Envy. Other things that are good about this is that it prints relatively fast, and it has an auto feeder, and it can handle a lot of different sizes and thicknesses if you want to mess around with different papers. The bad thing about this printer is that the cardstock is loaded via the rear tray, which can slow things down. And because it has 6 ink cartridges, ink can be expensive. Based on my research, it wastes a lot of ink, so it doesn't efficiently use its ink. So with every Epson, there's gonna be a Canon equivalent because these are the 2 best companies for fine art printers, and they like to duke it out. So the mid-tier Canon equivalent is the Pixma Pro 100 wireless professional inkjet photo printer. This usually retails for $500, but there's currently a rebate for $150. So you always gotta look for those rebates. This also prints a max of 13 by 19 inches, but this has 8 different ink cartridges. So the color gamut is a little bit more than the Epson. Great things about it is that it handles different media types and different thicknesses, and it's a good bang for your buck. Bad thing about it is that the ink can be expensive, and if you're looking for archival quality inks that don't fade over long periods of time, based on my research, Epson is usually the leader in that versus Canon. But these are things that you should consider as you go on this journey. The next printer I want to talk about is a really unique printer, and this is in between mid-range and high-end, but I would still consider this mid-range. So this is the Epson Expression Premium ET7750 EcoTank all-in-one inkjet printer. This retails for $650, and this is a really unique printer. Print quality is really good, but the thing that makes it unique is that it has EcoTanks that you can fill up instead of ink cartridges. This means that the ink is cheaper, and it will be cheaper to use in the long run, especially when you're printing in bulk. It does have its limitations though. It can only print a max paper size of 11.7 by 17, but because of the cost effectiveness, if you have to print a lot, then that might work out for you. Also, based on my research and feedback, it seems like the auto feed capability is not the best, and also the printer can be quite slow. We are now in our final category, and these are the high-end printers. So these are when you want the best quality and you're willing to pay for it. So Canon has the Pixma Pro 10 wireless professional inkjet photo printer, and this is $699, and there's also a $200 rebate. So this brings it down to $500. This prints a max size of 13 by 19 inches. Resolution is good, and it has 10 ink cartridges. So that's a really good color gamut. You're gonna be able to make professional quality prints with a full range. It handles different media sizes and thicknesses. With any high-end printer, the actual printer is going to be more expensive than the other mid-tier printers that you can purchase. And also with 10 cartridges, you're going to be spending more money on ink in the long run. Final printer at the time of the showing isn't even out yet, but it's called the Epson SureColor P900. Now this is an upgrade of our printer, which is the Epson SureColor P800. This is going to retail at around $1,200. There's currently no rebates. But the reason why this one's expensive compared to the Canon equivalent is that it can print a max size up to 17 inches by 22 inches. So you can print art prints up to a standard size of 16 by 20. And it has all sorts of capabilities that will future-proof. There's 10 different ink cartridges that will allow you the richest color gamut. It has archival prints, so the colors won't fade for years to come, especially depending how you take care of it. And it has other features such as an auto roller if you want to print a long panoramic shot, and it has auto feed as well. So if you just want to set it and forget it and print a bunch of prints at once, which is what we do, then you can do that as well. Bad thing about it, base cost for it is very expensive. It's a new printer, so there's not a lot of support out there yet for it. So it'll take a while to figure out all the quirks and features. It might be more than what you need at this time. Also, keep in consideration with 10 ink cartridges, it will be expensive to maintain in the long run. Those are all the printers. So I know you're overwhelmed, lots of choices. In general, when you go shopping for a printer, always look at different sites, look for sales, especially during the holidays, Black Friday. Look for rebates. A lot of these companies like to have rebates for printers because they want to get you into the ecosystem, so you buy the ink for the long term, and that's how they really make money off of you. Another thing you can look at is refurbished printers. They still have a warranty, but they're just for less price. You can buy gray market printers on eBay, which means that they don't have a warranty, but they should still work the same. I've taken the risk with that from time to time as well. And you can also buy it used on OfferUp or Craigslist. These printers aren't being used in an office where some intern is printing all this stuff off of it. Usually the fine artist printer, they take good care of the printers and equipment, and you can take a look at it when you check out the actual printer. So those are some ways that you try to save money. You can also make some sort of co-op with a bunch of other artists and invest in the printer together so that you guys can share the same printer. Those are the options that you can explore and try to make this a little bit more affordable. In summary, this is the way that I would look at all of these printers. If I wasn't sure I wanted to commit to an art business and I just wanted to make some art prints and cards for fun, maybe the HP Envy is enough. It's an all-in-one printer, it has a scanner, it's not that much of a price commitment, and easy for me to start there and justify the cost. If I wanted to spend a little bit more money, then I would upgrade to one of the mid-tier printers. They're both good. Epson has 6 colors and the Canon Pixma 100 has 8 colors. The Canon would probably be a better bang for your buck because it's a $500 printer that only costs $350 and it has 8 different color cartridges. So it has a pretty good color gamut for its price. And also, if I only needed to print up to 13 inches by 19 inches, then it should be fine for me. That printer really should be good if you don't have that many colors you're working with, especially for like graphic designers or something like that. If I wanted to go high-end printer, and I wanted the most bang for my buck, definitely would be the Canon Pixma 10. It's under $1,000, and I'm getting 10 ink cartridges, so really good color gamut. The only limitation is the max print it can print is 13 by 19 inches. If I wanted the printer that can do it all, as far as from a great quality perspective, have archival inks, and be able to print a max size of 16 by 20 inches and also has auto roll capabilities that I can add on later, then for sure it'd be the SureColor Epson P900. And then for the last unique printer, the Epson EcoTank, I would get that printer if I wanted to just print in bulk and have something that would be cheaper to maintain in the long run. So that's our rundown of the top 6 printers in 2020. Now, every time someone asks me, what printer should I get? I'm just gonna send them this video so I don't have to repeat myself over and over again. What printer did you end up getting? So did you go with the high-end one? Did you go with the cheap one? Did you go with the mid-tier? I'd like to know. And let me know if you have any questions about printers. You can DM us in our Instagram or you can leave a comment. We will respond. If you would like to support us, please subscribe, and thank you for your support. We'll see you soon.